seeing in the background is, well, the palace that I've built recently, and this is essential to every Roman building ever built, literally. And I wanted to add original features, stuff like that, so I researched it and found a perfect one which I was going to build, and this is what it's showing now. Now, in terms of plans of the future, what I'd like to do is sort of do like a speed build sort of video, rather than filming what I'm doing. Have, you know, like a sort of a cameraman filming me doing the stuff instead of me filming it, and I think that'd be easier for you. But what I'd like is comments about that, and like the video if that's what you want to do. So what you're seeing now is obviously the roof. I'd already done the pillars, if you're wondering. Those were already there. And then I realised I needed to record, so, you know. Yeah, so I've decided to make it out of stone bricks, again, because, you know, it's quite a sturdy material. Well, not, obviously, it doesn't have to be sturdy, but, you know, looks strong. And, you know, obviously, all Roman buildings then, they had to be strong and, you know, they had to look like they'd last for a long time, because obviously they did. Now, what I'm doing here is obviously finishing off the roof, and it looks sort of like a town hall, but this is obviously where the emperor is gonna live. Well, would have lived anyway, you know, in a lovely big sort of palace right at the edge of the city, overlooking the whole thing, which is quite good, and the wall actually links up to it, which is what you'll see later. Now I'm just finishing off the roof. It was quite hard for me to decide what floor to actually do. As you'll see in a minute, it's, you know, not a lot of floors worked. But I didn't leave it open, obviously. What I decided to do was use the light grey wood, but I'm just rounding off the outside with the stone now. And if you want an advanced tutorial on how to do this sort of a build, a big palace, a Roman palace, all you have to do is say in the comments, and I'll do it. I mean, I've got stuff recorded already, which, you know, all I have to do is do a voiceover and it will be a tutorial. So, I'm still outlining it with the normal stone. I thought that's quite nice, because it has sort of like a darker tone to it, as if, you know, people like walk all over it, stuff like that, which obviously they would have done. It's a lot more realistic. Now what I'm doing now is I'm lining off the wall, sort of thing, making all that out of oak. But then I realised, no, it wasn't really right. So then I decided to use stone instead. Well, not stone, obviously, but the same stone brick. Because, you know, it has like quite a nice effect. And I like the way, especially on this build, that the pillars hold the whole thing up as if it's actually structurally sound, unlike most Minecraft builds. But as you can see, I'm building it right up to the top, because obviously it's a palace. I can't leave it open, so I need some sort of wall. So sort of the pillars are sort of like a courtyard sort of thing. So that's what I did for that. Now, in terms of the speed build sort of stuff, I'm wondering if that would be better, you know, to film it, me building the build, so you can see my character and what he's doing, all that kind of stuff. And I saw some of the Yogscast Sigyn videos where he did his Let's Build, and I thought, you know, do the same thing as him, because it was quite a nice sort of, well, it's quite a nice thing to do, really. It looked professional, so that's what I'm going to do, I reckon. Unless people say otherwise, they say they like this, and that's perfectly fine. What I'm doing now is I'm laying down the floor. I went with light oak because it quite contrasted quite well with the light brick I'm using. I'm doing sort of a portrait sort of thing now. At first, I went with sort of a this sort of window. I was questioning it a bit, but actually it looks quite nice because obviously I'm not going to be using glass that much in this whole video. I mean this whole series, just because they wouldn't have really used it too much, only in churches and cathedrals and stuff like that. And by the way, something to look forward to, I'm going to be building a cathedral. It's going to take me a long time though, but you know, I'm ready for it. So what I'm doing now is I'm finishing off the door. I went with a nice little pattern in the end, like that. And then that brick in the middle, I decided to change. I made 2 new pillars, you know, because it makes it look more realistic. Here's my lighting lamp. I like lights to be high because it gives good contrast to the bottom. And what I'm actually doing here now is making sort of a fireplace right in the middle, and this is going to act as some sort of underfloor heating, because definitely in the Roman times they would have had a lot of underfloor heating, you know, all that kind of stuff. They're quite good in terms of technology, so it's what this is going to sort of act like. Obviously I'm not going to do a whole tunnel system underneath the build, but it sort of looks like it the way it layers up. Here's me just changing around the design. Obviously, you know, can't get it perfect every time, but look, if you can see sort of like outbreaks in the whole thing. Just extending the fireplace here. It's quite hard, the fireplace, actually. I wasn't really sure on what I was doing really for the most part, but eventually I got it right. So what you're seeing here is the finished product from the outside. As you can see, it's like on the slope of a mountain. Just walking in. It's a lot easier, obviously, to see the build without it being a speed build. So here's around the house. It's not really much of a palace, I have to admit, but if you want, put in the comment section if you want me to add a couple of towers or something like that to it, I will do. Thank you, goodbye.